Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. All right, we're getting ready for episode 2 of our Age of Fantasy skirmish battles. So in our first Age of Fantasy skirmish battle, the Mummified Undead just barely eked out a win over the Beastmen. Now it's kind of questionable because I missed out on the morale rule, where the morale rule kicks in at the end of the round. I enacted it at the point that the units were actually cut in half rather than waiting till the end of the turn to enact it. So, but I did play it the same for both sides, so I don't feel too bad about that. At least I played it consistently as both sides were affected, but it should only come into the effect at the end of the round. So we'll try to get that right this time. So what we've got this time around, it's going to be Beastmen versus the Mummified Undead. And our previous Lord of the Mummified Undead has moved on to another town. And because our Beastman boss ran away, he's come back for some revenge this time around and beefed up a little bit. And on the Mummified Undead side, we're going to see a much smaller number of units. Reduced it down by bringing in some bigger units, and we'll see how this plays out. All right, so first unit on our Beastmen side is going to be our Brute Boss. So we're going to be playing with a Brute Boss. He's going to have 3 quality, 3 defense, and we're actually going to play with upgrades this go around. So what I'm adding to the Brute Boss is we're going to double up on the hand weapons. So he's going to get 2 attack 3s along with armor piercing 1, and we're going to give him bull charge. So he's going to be coming in pretty tough there, and we're looking at a cost of 125 for just our Brute Boss. All right, units number 2 on the Beastmen side. There's going to be 2 of them. Let's see if we can get them to focus here. Oh, there we go. We have a couple of Centaurs. So just standard Centaurs, 2 of them, quality 3, defense 4, E2 hand weapons, and they're going to have an upgrade also. We're going to give them throwing weapons, which I don't think is going to make a big deal, but add a few extra points to spend. All right, so that makes them 40 points apiece for a total of 80 points. So now we're at 205 points total. And the last units on the Beastmen side are couple of Beastmen Warriors. So just straight up Beastmen Warriors, quality 4, defense 5. We are going to give them a slight upgrade with great weapons. So give them some armor piercing also. So at 20 each, that's going to bring us to 245, I believe, if I remember my math off the top of my head for our Beastmen side of things. All right, what we're going with on the Mummified Undead side, we are going to continue with our Mummy King right there. He's still coming out to play and not coming into focus, of course. Here we go. Oh, there he is. Oh, maybe. So we're going to have a Mummy King, quality 3, defense 4, and he's going to have some upgrades. So let's see here. Oh, wait. Does he have upgrades? I actually don't think he has upgrades. No upgrades for the Mummy King. So he's going to stay at 50. All right. Where the upgrades are going to come in is going to be here. So this is the big switch from last game. Going to bring in a couple of these guys. These are Guardian statues. So I'm going to bring in 2 Guardian statues. And they're normally 50 points, quality 3, defense 4, but we're upgrading them. So what we're going to give them is 2 times hand weapons, and we're going to give them Stone Shaper. So they're going to have Furious and Regeneration. So they're coming in at 75 points apiece. So that's 150 total for them, plus the Mummy King is 200. We have a few more points to mess around with, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab ourselves a set of archers. So we're going to have 3 archers, and ideally the lead archer is like actually facing the camera. There we go. All right, so we're going to go with 3 archers, little archer unit there. They're going to cost 30. We are going to give them a battle standard so they get a little bit of a boost on their attack. And that's going to round us out to 240. Yeah, 240 on the Mummified Undead side. So with that, I'm going to pause for a second while I get our board set up, and then we'll cut back to our overhead view with the board and get ready to play. All right, be right back. All right, so we've got the board set up and we're ready to start turn number 1. The Mummified Undead. I'm playing on a 3x3 play area, so rather than having 12 inches to come in from, we're starting within 6 inches of the edge here. Same thing on the Mummified Undead side. And the Beastmen are going to start off first here. So we've got 3 objective points that are out there, and we'll see how this goes. All right, so first thing is on the Beastmen's turn. I think what I'm going to do is have one of these Beastmen move up here in order to capture this little area. So things that we'll keep in play here is our little lake there is impassable terrain. These right here give cover unless you're up against them. Then you can see without, if you're back away from them, shooting through them is going to be like shooting through cover. Shooting somebody else that's far away through that is going to be through cover. If you're up against it, then you can shoot through it and it counts as cover for you, but not cover for your enemies. So in all the houses, you can't go in them or climb up them. They're just impassable terrain. So, all right, we're going to start with this Beastman here, and we want to move him around. So I'm going to grab my tape measure and I'll move him real quick and then be right back. All right, so with our 12-inch movement, I'm able to go from here to here and place him there. I'm also going to have a rule this game that you can't hide behind terrain that blocks things and still capture the point. Like, in order to get the capture, you can't have concealing terrain around it. So what that's going to mean for those skeletons is that they have to come across the wall, around the wall, in order to capture that one. I thought about being kind of cheesy and hiding the Beastman back here, but we're going to have a rule where in order to capture these points, you have to be in front of them and can't have intervening objects between you and the capture point. All right, so that's our first Beastman. At that point in time, we're going to go on over to the Mummified Undead side, and I think what I'm going to do is on the Mummified Undead side, those Guardian statues are going to want to move up. What'll probably end up happening is the archers, we want to hold the archers back and then take that one. Hopefully some things come into range, but the Mummified Undead, we're going to have one of those, the Guardian statues on the Mummified Undead side. We're going to have one of the Guardian statues move up and try to head towards that center point. Maybe have one of them angled to over here. So I think we're going to go with the guy on the right. We're going to have him hit over to this point over here. So let me move him real fast and then I'll be right back. All right, that worked out really well. A full movement put him within actually 3 inches of the point here, so he should be able to capture that unless it gets contested at the end of the turn. So wasn't expecting that to actually turn out that way, but worked out great. All right, so that leaves us back over to the Beastmen. Now, I do have my Beast Lord. I don't think 12 inches is going to get him. I don't think he's going to be able to charge 12 inches and get up to where that statue is. He could get up there. I think we're going to move him up there just to get him into fighting range. So we'll get ahead and move him up, and then he can contest that point. Bring him back just a little bit. Won't be able to actually go at it, but you can get there to make sure. I think he's going to be within 3. Actually, I can use my thing here. Yeah, he'll be within 3, so that point does not get captured by the Mummified Undead. All right, we'll make it contested. All right, so next up on the Mummified Undead side, I think we're going to have our Mummy King swing around to this side and head towards this point and try to come around the backside and take these Beastmen out over here. They're kind of crunchy, like these guys all have tough on this side, and really the only one on the Beastmen side is our boss, and he's got a lot of tough. He's got tough 6, so he is really tough, but on the other side, they've all got tough 3. And the regeneration, we haven't played with regeneration yet, so we'll see how that kicks in. So anyway, I think if we have the Mummy King come swing around over here, maybe he can mop up some of this stuff in the back and not take too much damage himself. All right, so that's the plan. I'm going to move him and be right back. All right, so a 12-inch movement gets him about right there. And then we're back over to the Beastmen side. Now, one of the things is the Centaurs over here, they have fast. And if I look at my rule reference here, fast says I can move 18 when I rush or charge. So they could actually get to one of these guys and give them a hit. Now, the downside is they're both pretty big, so taking a hit's going to take some damage. If I'm going to rush somebody, I think what I want to do on this side is rush those archers. So I think we'll hold off just a second. We'll try to move this other beast man up here and get him into play somewhere, and then try to force the archers to move on the other side before we move one of our centaurs. So let's move this beastman another 12. Where we want to move him to? Let's move him. We'll move him up right by this house here, because the other thing is I don't want to get taken out by archers. So we'll move him up to here, and then he won't have to worry about the archers. Can't do any attacking, but that's a good move. All right. Next thing, we're going to go over to the Mummified Undead side, and I think that other Guardian statue is going to move up by this one. Because the boss is coming in here, I think he's going to want some backup. So they're pretty big units, pretty beefy units. Spent a lot of points on those. 2 of them maybe can take the boss out. We'll have to see how that plays out. I'm hoping the regeneration kicks in and allows them to do that. So be right back while I move him up 12 inches. All right, so moved him up 12 from there to there. And next, we're back over to the Beastmen side of stuff, and I just have my Centaurs to move over here. Now, the Centaurs, like I said, they move a long distance. What I don't know is if I want to send them in for an attack. Now, they could run in and do a ranged attack, and it's a pretty, it's a pretty piddly attack. It's only got an attack of 1. They do have Furious, but that only counts when you charge, so they could advance, shoot some arrows, see if maybe they get a hit. The one thing you'd have to be worried about is whatever comes and hits them could potentially take them out. But I think what we're going to do is we'll run one of them over here, and then he should be able to take a shot at those archers. We'll have to see if we can line up sight on the archers. I think we can do that. So let me move them real fast, and then we'll see if we can line up some sight there. All right, so I moved him up to here. That's as far as he can get. In order to use fast and still be able to shoot, he can only move 9 inches. So that's as far as he can go. I think at that point, we're just going to take a shot at one of these. I keep thinking, I want to say Mummified Undead each time, but they're not. Well, they kind of are, but they're Guardian statues. So this Centaur is going to take a shot at this Guardian statue. Likely not going to do anything, but we might as well use our weapons while we got them, right? So let's take a shot here. So he's got a throwing weapon that's got a range of 12. So it's kind of it's not a lot of range and not a lot of damage. It's got an attack of 1. So we're gonna see what we can do here. We have a quality of 3, so we hit on a 3. We're gonna roll. We got a 6. All right, so that's a hit. All right, next up we have our Guardian statues have a defense of 4. So let's see if he defends against it. He does. So the little arrow plinks off and does nothing. That's what we're saying. Well, I guess it's a thrown weapon, so maybe it's like a little spear that he's throwing at him. But he defends against it, bounces off his armor, doesn't do anything. All right, so that's the end of the Beastmen side for that Centaur. We're over to the undead, Mummified Undead archers are the last units to move over there. And they're going to want to move up and get in range of our little victory spot there. So they've got a movement of 6 that they can do as an advance. So let me move them up and into range of that spot, and then I'll I'll be shooting at something. Probably the Centaurs what they'll take the shot at. All right, the archers have moved up from there to here, and they've got pretty obvious line of sight to this Centaur over here. I could move our little table cam over, but it's pretty obvious. It's a straight through shot. So they're gonna go ahead and take this shot and see if they can take the Centaur out. All right, so they have 3 models. They have battle standard. So to double check here, our battle standard is going to give us all friendly units within 6 inches always count as having dealt +1 wound for seeing wound effects. So we'll see if that helps them take out the Centaur here. All right, so they're hitting on 5s. So we're gonna roll 3 dice and see what we come up with. Actually, I'm gonna scoot this in just a little bit. So we've got 2 hits. All right, so our Centaur defends on 4s. And we have 2 defenses. All right, so our little arrows bounce off. They don't do anything. Okay, now that leaves the Beastmen with 1 Centaur left. So the question is at hand is, can he charge that far across the field and hit those skeletons? So with fast, he's got 18 inches of movement. So let's see here. What's 18 on the tape measure is right here. So, oh, he can't quite get there. All right, so the other option is it looks like he could charge right into that guardian statue. Maybe that's what he should do, is hit that guardian statue and see what he can do. The guardian statue is probably going to turn around and take him out. So I don't know if that's a smart move there. So I could move 9, but then I'm probably not going to be in range because my thrown weapons have a range of 12, and I might be able to get to that skeleton there. I think I can. So if I move 9, which is going to put me about here, then am I going to be in, I'm going to have to stand up and take a look. Am I going to be in 12 inches of the skeletons? It's going to be close. I think I am. I think I'm barely within 12 inches of those skeletons. So I can take a little shot with my thrown weapons at the skeletons over there. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We've got an attack of 1, so we're just going to roll 1 die, and we hit on 3s or better. 6. All right, so it's a hit. Now the skeletons have a defense of 6, so they're not great on the defense side of things. And they don't get it. So first blood goes to my Centaur over here. He manages to take a skeleton out. Pow. All right. 1 skeleton down. And that is the end of our first turn. So what we need to look at is how everybody places out here. So we've got 1 Beastman within range of this point. So they're going to capture that one. We have 2 opposing units within range of this point here, so no capture there. And we have skeletons and the Mummified Undead are in range of this point over here, so they're going to capture that one. All right, so after turn 1, we're going to be at 1 point and 1 point. And we're going to get ready for round 2. All right. So the last person to move was the Centaurs. So that means that the Mummified Undead get to go first. Okay, now this is kind of a big decision here. Do I bring my Mummy King in here to attack? Or, well, actually, I need to clean up my tokens here. Let's get these out of the way real fast first. Boop, boop, so we know who's done moving. 1, 2, 1 more. This one right here. Okay. All right. So I can bring my Mummy King in first. And I think that's within 12. Is that going to be within 12? That's within 12. So we could charge in and probably take this Beastman out. I think that's what we'll start off with. The other thing I could do is I could have one of these guardian statues run over here and take out one of the Centaurs. I think that's the better tactic, because I think if one of these guys runs in here and takes out a Centaur, that's going to do more damage to the Beastmen team than we would by taking out one of the Beastmen, because they don't attack for nearly as much. All right. Well, they do have armor piercing 2 on their weapons. I think we'll go after the Centaurs here. All right, so we're going to activate this guy right here. He's going to move 12, which is going to be enough to put him into base-to-base contact with that Centaur right there. All right, so he's doing the big attack. Let's see what he comes up with. So if I take a look at him, he's got a quality of 3. We have 2 times hand weapons. So we're going to be rolling 6 dice at a quality of 3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 dice. We're hitting on 3s or better. Let's see what we come up with. Wow. Okay. Lucky that was 3s or better, because that would have been a horrible roll otherwise, but that's 4 hits. All right, so the Centaur's got to defend against 4 hits. His defense is 4s or better. So let's see what he can ward off. He wards off 2 of the hits, so he's going to take 2 hits. All right, so we're going to give him 2. We're going to roll to see, 2. We're going to roll to see whether he's stunned or knocked out. So we're going to roll this and add it. 6 plus 2 is going to end up being 8. On a 5 plus, we're out. So this Centaur is out of the game. Boom. All right. Now he's got the ability to move up to 3 because he took his opponent out. So I can go 3 inches, but I have to stay at least an inch away from my opponents. So I think what we're going to do is we'll move up a little bit more. We'll move up maybe to about here and call it good. All right. So that was the Mummified Undead. We're over to the Beastmen side of the board. Now, I think what I want to do with this Centaur is I'm going to have, if that Centaur can charge, I think we're going to have him charge these skeletons just to try to, oh yeah, they're definitely within range. So that Centaur is going to charge into the skeletons and try to take them out before, before he ends up getting taken out by these other bigger guys out there. So we're going to have this Centaur charge on over here. We're going to position him so he's within 3 inches of that. That's easily within his 18 inches of movement. So he goes into base-to-base contact. This archer's got to come around for base-to-base contact. And we're going to do some fighting. All right, so what we've got is we've got the Centaur. He's got hand weapons, which have a 2. He also has Crazed and Impact 1. So if we take a look at Impact 1, Impact 1 is going to tell us, I've got my rules reference over here. So I get 1 automatic hit. So we're going to just put this at the side here. We get 1 automatic hit. We have a 2. We have Furious, so we're going to get a 3rd die because we're charging into combat. And then we have Craze, so we need to roll and see what Craze does for us. So let's take a roll for Crazed. And we get a 3. So a 3 on Crazed says unit gets +1 attack. So we're going to throw this over here in the attack pool. All right, so we're rolling 4 dice on the attack, and we've got 1 automatic hit. And we hit on 3s or better, so we get 4 hits. That's not looking good for the skeletons. All right, so the skeleton archer's defense, they defend on 6s. So actually, they defended 1 of them, so they're going to take 3 hits. So what that means is 1's going to go away. That's going to reduce it down to 2 hits that the other skeleton is going to take. And then we're going to roll to see what happens to him. So let's see here. 2 plus 3 is 5, and I think we're out on a 5 or better. No, it's 6 or better he's knocked out. So he's just stunned. Lucky dog. All right. So we're going to give him stunned. And then I need to back off an inch. So I'm going to back off an inch here. And then this Centaur will be done for the round. All right, does that put him within 3 inches? Yeah, it's going to put him within 3 inches, and we're going to be able to contest that point there. All right. What's going to happen next? I think what we're going to do is we're going to have that archer stand up just so he's not automatically taken out. Pretty much any other hit's going to take him out, but we'll go. Oh, well, the other question is, do I run in and hit the Beastmen at this point? I don't think so. We're going to use our archer move as kind of a delaying tactic. So we're going to unstun ourselves, get back up, kind of do a little recovery thing, and the archers are done. All right, so that puts us over to the Beastmen side. All right, now we're getting into kind of a tough decision here. We've got the boss. I think we have the boss go ahead and attack this guardian statue over here and see if he can take him out. So this should easily be within his movement. He's going to charge in here. And we're going to have to do a lot of figuring. So let me get right back while I figure that out. All right, so I moved my camera around. I think I've got all the things figured out here. We take a look here. There's what our combat's looking like. It's a little bit on the, oh, I can't get good focus, but there we go. It looks like the boss is coming in there to take him out. Go back to overhead. So let's take a look at what we've got going on here. So our brute boss is charging in there. He normally has attack of 3, but he's got 2 times hand weapon. So he's going to have an attack of 6. So we've got 3, 6. Other things to note is he's got Furious. So when he charges in, he's going to get another attack die. He has impact 3. So he's going to get 3 automatic hits, and I'm starting to run out of dice. It's kind of crazy. All right, and the other thing to know is his attacks have armor piercing 1, which is going to reduce our guardian statue's roll for defense by 1. The other thing to keep in mind here is the guardian statue's got a defense of 4, plus with his upgrade, he's got regeneration. So we're going to roll on all of those hits and see if he can shrug some of those off or not. And I believe regeneration says, and I'm looking it up real fast here, he's got regeneration. It's on a 5+. The wound is ignored. So, all right. So let's roll this handful of dice here. We got 7 dice plus 3 automatic hits. Now, we hit on a quality of 3. So, holy cow, that's a lot of misses. 3. Well, actually, that's about right. It's a little under 2/3 hit. So we end up with 4 hits plus our 3 automatic hits that are coming in. All right. So we're hitting with 7 dice. We have armor piercing 1, which means he's going to roll defense 1 lower. So the guardian statue is going to need 5 pluses to negate any of these hits. Okay, so those are negations. Wow. Look at him shrug all of that off. All right, so he's only taken 2 hits, and now he's got regeneration that's going to kick in. And if these come up a 5 or a 6, then he negates those. Oh, he only, out of all of that, he only takes 1 hit. All right, 1 hit. All right, we're going to roll to see whether he's knocked out or stunned. Or, well, I don't think he can't be anything, so he gets a 2. So on a 2... he's stunned. All right. Well, the good thing for our hero is that means he's not getting counterattacked because he stunned him. So our boss, our hero, I'm kind of on the Beastman side, maybe just a little bit. So the Beastman came in and gave him a thwack. He's not going to get a counterattack back. So that saves him from taking some damage. Although there's some other guys over here that are probably going to change that story in a little bit. Oh, nope, he's already gone. So that's not a thing. All right, so that's the end of our boss's turn. We're over to the Beastmen side. So I think utmost concern for the Beastmen. Oh, you know what? I forgot something. The Mummified Undead, the Guardian statue, has tough of 3, so he is not stunned because we don't check for that until we get past our toughness value of 3. I'm double checking our rule here, and tough says the model only rolls to see what happens from wounds once it has taken at least X wounds. And so 1 doesn't qualify for the 3, so he's not there yet. So actually this round, he gets to retaliate against the Beastmen. So I haven't gotten too far. He can go ahead and retaliate against the Beastmen. So let's do that. So let's look at his retaliate. His retaliate is, he's got a quality of 3. He's got A3 hand weapons, 2 of them. So he's going to end up with 6 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is a retaliate attack, so he's not instigating the attack with a charge, so he doesn't get his furious. All right, so he's going to hit on 3+. So we have 2 hits against the Beast Lord. All right, so the Beast Lord, or the Brute Boss, has a defense of 3, so he's going to roll these 2, and he's going to take 2 hits. All right. Now, by the same vein, the Brute Boss has a toughness of 6, so he's not rolling to see whether he's stunned or knocked out either. So it's interesting, the Brute Boss comes in, trades blows with the Guardian statue, and the Guardian statue actually comes out ahead, which was totally unexpected in that. All right, so he has to back off an inch. All right, so since he's done at this point, I think the Guardian statue is going to come in and, ooh. Well, there's a question. Does he go take out the Centaur, which could be a thing? He would be likely to take out the Centaur. Problem is, at this point in time, he's used his attack as part of the retaliate. So he's not going to hit as easily. He's only going to hit on 6s. But he's throwing a fistful of dice. So he's going to throw 6 dice when he attacks. Plus he's got furious. He's going to throw a 7 dice if he charges in. What that could give him, he would be looking at giving up that point to the Brute Boss, but he would stop the point over there from being contested and could take out a Centaur potentially. I think that's the better choice. Give up a point there to try to keep that point and potentially take out a Centaur. That sounds like the right move to me. And he's easily within 12 inches, so he's going to charge over here. He's going to hit this Centaur. Oops, at 1. And that Centaur had already attacked, so he doesn't have any good retaliate stuff that he can do either. All right, so our Guardian statue is throwing 7 dice because he's got 2 times hand weapons, and he's got furious. So he's hitting on 6s though. So let's see what we come up with. 1 hit. All right. So we're going to see if the Centaur can shrug that off. He's got defense 4+. 1, he does not, so he's going to take a damage from that. All right, so the Centaur is going to take 1 damage. Oop, I'm moving him around a little bit, and I shouldn't be doing that. Let's move this. Oh, this is the problem when I'm sitting here and I'm reaching. There's my 1. There's my 1. Okay. We're going to roll and see whether he gets knocked out or stunned or what his deal is. So we're going to roll 1 die. 5 plus 1 is 6. He is out of there. All right, that worked out as planned. Took out the Centaur. He's done at this point, and we're going to clear that up so we can get a victory point. Excellent work. All right, so back over to the Beastmen side of stuff. These guys are probably going to get ran over by the Mummy King coming in here. The one thing that they could possibly do is if I have 2 of them in range of that, it's going to keep it contested. So he can take 1 of them out, but he can't take both of them out because he doesn't really have a blow through and hit the next guy. So if he moves up here and attacks this one, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have this guy move back in here. That should easily be within 12 inches of movement. Yeah. So we're going to have him swing back over here and hang out right there. All right, he's kind of guarding that point to make sure that there's no victory points just stolen by the Mummy King there. All right, so next up is going to be Mummified Undead's turn in. Mummy King's going to flow right in here. I'm going to attack this Beastman. Actually, I should have probably put him here. Maybe tried to take the attack. I don't know. All right, so Mummified Undead, move 12 inches. He's easily within 12 inches. So Mummy King is going to fly on up here and going to throw down on our Beastman here. So the Mummified Undead Mummy King has an attack of 3. All right, so we're going to roll 3 dice. He hits on 3s or better. 2 hits. Our Beastman, he defends on 5s. So let's see if we get 5s or better. 1 of them, so he's going to take 1 hit. All right. 1 hit on our Beastman here. We're going to have to roll and see what happens to him. 2, 3, he is stunned. All right. That's the end of our Mummy King's move. We're back to the Beastmen. The last thing that the Beastmen can do is this guy can activate and remove his stunned. And I believe everybody's gone at that point in time. All right, so let's take a look at our victory point. So this one's going to be contested at this point. It's going to go away. But the only person within range of this one is our Beastmen, and the only people in range of that one is our Mummified Undead. So each team's going to get a point. All right. Morale check. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So we'd have to get at least rid of 2 units on Mummified Undead side. On the Beastmen side, there are 5 units. We haven't hit half yet, though we are probably pretty close to that. All right. So we're going to clean up at this point. We're going to move on to turn number 3. All right, so on the Beastman side of things, the thing I'm looking at is that Mummified Undead is quickly gaining numbers. It's going to be really tough to turn that around. Oop, he should have had to back off an inch. Sorry. My bad there. All right. So I think one of the things, I'm trying to figure out how to tactically play this. I think we have this Beastman take off and try to mess around over on the other side of the table here. That would keep him out of range, potentially, of these 2 guys. You might have to take a... It's possible he could get hit by the archer, but the archer is not all that accurate. So I think that's his go, is he's going to run. We're going to move this guy, and we're going to move him 12 inches around. He's got a wound. Let's see, so we're going to move him 9 to about here. And then we'll move him another 3 to about there. He's going to take his 1 wound with him. And he's going to be done at that point. All right, Mummified Undead. What do we do here? So we've got that archer sitting over there. And he could take a shot. The other thing that we're looking at is I could have one of those guardian statues head over that way too. Or I could have one of the guardian statues. I could have the guardian statues concentrate on the Beast Lord and see if they can potentially take him out. I think what we're going to go with is we're going to have this archer that's in the back over here. He's just going to hold and have him shoot this Beastman over here. So he's going to hang out. Actually, we'll do like a little pivot. Little pivot, and we're going to take a shot. So he's going to hit on 5s. There's only one of them, so I only get to roll one die. Nope, he misses. Misses our little beastman, and he's done for the round. All right. But he's still staying in range of that victory point over there. So we'll stay on top of that. All right. Let's see here. Next up is the Beastmen. So what are the Beastmen going to do? So I've got this guy, and he could run away and hide. You could run over by this point over here, because he's not taking that Mummy King out. That's just not happening. So maybe he goes over here and forces them to make a play to try to take him out by standing by this point over here. I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to kind of abandon this one. And we'll head over here and hang out right there by that one and be done for this round. All right, so that forces us on the Mummified Undead side. I think we're going to keep our Mummy King there because he needs to capture that point. So I've got my 2 statues that I can move. Does this statue go take out this Beastman and then make that one contested potentially? I think that's the right move, is to move in there. Now, what I have to worry about is at that point in time, the boss coming in and giving him a thwack and potentially taking him out. But the other thing is, if he takes out that Beastman, then we're getting to him a morale check at the end of the turn. And I think that would be worth it in order to drive a morale check. So I think that's what we're going to go for. We're going to take this statue here, and that's 12 inches. He's going to move, boom, right here, charge in here, and he's going to be throwing a lot of dice. All right, so he's got a quality of 3, so that means he hits on 3s. He has 2 weapons, 2 times hand weapons, so we're at 3, 6. He gets 1 more because he has Furious because of the Stone Shaper upgrade. So we're rolling 7 dice and we're hitting on 3s. Yowza. All right. So we have 4 hits on the Beastman. All right, the Beastman, he's got a defense of 5. So let's see how many 5s or better he can get. 1. All right, so he's taking 3 hits. Not looking good for the Beastman. All right, and oh, I got some orange dice over here. All right, let's move these back into play here. All right, so he's taking 3 hits. Well, that's not too good. Let's roll and see what happens to him. You roll a 4, so 3 plus 4 is 7. He is out of there. Knocked out. All right, so now we've got a problem because we got 3 Beastmen units gone and only 2 remaining on the board. They're going to be looking at a morale check. Not now, but at the end of the round. Okay, so since he had the victory there and he's wiped the other unit out, he can move 3 inches. So I think we're going to move him right up by our spot here, and then he'll be done. All right, now we're back over to the Beastmen. So what do we do on the Beastmen side this turn? He's not going to be able to clear that out. Actually, he could potentially get over there, take the skeleton out, and then capture that point. It's very likely that he would be able to do that. Then he would be automatically giving up these 2. He could stay here, this one. So they're probably going to get 2 points no matter which way he goes. The question is, does he think he can do enough damage to take out this statue here? Or does he revert to trying to take out the little skeleton and capturing that point back there? I think in best interest, it would be to try to take the statue out. He rolled horribly last time. The statue rolled great on defense. I think we'll try to take this one out. We'll see if the dice gods work for the Beastmen this round. So we're going to fly on over here. He's going to take his 2 wounds with him. We're going to take a shot at this statue and see what happens. All right, so Beastman's coming in. Our brute boss has 6 dice he's going to throw because he's got 2 times hand weapons. Then he has impact of 3, so he's going to get 3 automatic hits, plus he has furious. So we're throwing 7 dice, and we're hitting on 3s. All right. 7 dice, hitting on 3s. Let's see what we can get. They all hit. So that's 10 hits coming in, and they have AP of 1. So armor piercing 1, so his defense is normally 4. He's going to have to get 5s on his defense rolls. All right, let's see what he comes up with here. That's a lot of dice to roll. All right, he's got to get 5s. We get this one out, this one out, this one out, and this one out. All right, so that leaves us with 6 hits coming through. Next thing that's going to kick in is our regeneration. I'm going to take these, and any 5s or 6s get kicked out of this. And 1 gets kicked out of this. All right, so we're taking 5 damages coming in. All right, so that is well past our tough value. So essentially what ends up happening there is it takes 3 off of the tough value at that point in time. We're going to roll 1. Actually, let's double check that. I want to make sure I'm reading the tough rule right. So tough says knocked out on rolls of 5 plus X or more. So his toughness is 3, so he would be knocked out on a 8 or more. And so we've got 5 plus 1 is 6, so he's just stunned. All right, and then our Beastman is done. Beastman boss is done at that point in time. Okay. Where do we go from here? So we're back over to the Mummified Undead at this point in time. So I think what we do is we leave our boss right here, our king. I'm calling him the boss now, and I call the Beastman guy a Beastman. I'm messing. I'm calling the boss a Beastman and the king a whatever. Anyway, our king is going to capture this at the end of the town, so he's just going to hang out right there and not do anything. We want the victory points because it's kind of exciting to run off and kill stuff in this game, but in the end, it's the victory points that matter. All right, after that, we've got 1 statue that's still left to go. Oh, he needs to back off an inch. We've got 1 statue left to go there, and I think he's going to swing around. He's going to take a shot at the Lord here and see if he can take him out. Okay, so we're looking at 7 dice because we have 3, and then we have 2x hand weapons, and we have furious. So 7 dice, and we're hitting on 3s or better. Boom. All right, so we're going to take 2 out of there. That means the boss has 5 hits incoming. The boss defends on 3s or better. So we have 1 hit that he's taking. All right, so he's going to go up to 3. He's got a toughness of 6, so it's still not affecting him yet. He's going to be doing a little retaliatory strike against our statue there. So he's going to roll. So he doesn't get his full set of dice. He's only going to get 7 dice. Or sorry, 6 dice, because he doesn't have furious. And his impact isn't going to kick in because impact only happens when you are charging. So sadly, he only gets to roll 6 dice. All right, and he hits on 3s or better. Now he does have AP 1 on those, so he's gonna make their defense 1 less. Oh no, he hits on 6s. Sorry, he rolls in, so it's only 6s that hit because he already attacked. So he's only got one hit going on there. All right, so he's going to roll defense. His defense, he needs 5s or better. Normally it would be 4s, but we've got AP 1. So that hit's going through. Then we need to look at regeneration. So 5 or 6, does it regen? It regens. So no damage there. They trade blows. Nothing happens. All right, so there we go. That looks like the end of turn 3. So we need to look at victory points. This one's contested. Nothing happens there. And the Mummified Undead captured this one. So it looks like Mummified Undead is going to walk away with the win here. Oh, the other thing we need to do is our morale check. So the thing that I'm not sure on, I'm trying to remember turn order. If the morale check happens before, I think it's at the end of the turn. So I'm not sure if that happens before we look at victory points or not. It's actually not going to matter a whole lot because I think Mummified Undead is going to have the victory here. So we're going to go ahead and roll our morale check. We're doing this based on quality. So the brute boss has a quality of 3. He passes his morale check. Our beastman that's on the side over there, he's got a quality of 4. He passes his morale check. All right, so it didn't really matter whether it's at the end of the turn or not because it all came out even anyway. All right, so that's the end of the round. We're going to collect back up our tokens here. And the last person to go was Mummified Undead. So the first person to go is going to be the Beastmen at this point. Now, what would be amazing, and I think the fences are going to get in the way, because if he could get over here, oh yeah, see, he can't quite do it. I don't think, let me stand up and check real fast. Be right back. I'm going to do some checks and see if they can get in range. But if this Beastman could potentially run around and hit this stunned statue, he would take it out. But I don't think he's got the movement to do it, so it's not going to happen. But let me check real fast. Be right back. All right, so he can't do it. I measured it inside and out, and he can actually get to like right where this die is, but he cannot get to base-to-base contact with that statue. He's so close. You can almost get there. So I think what we're going to do instead is have the Beastman that's here charge over and try to take this skeleton out, because then at least he can contest that point. And then maybe with the fighting that's going on over here, I don't think we're going to be able to get the win, but we can make the ending a glorious battle. So we're going to have this guy. He's going to charge on over here. I'm going to go in base-to-base contact. Oop, the sword's making problems. And I measured when I was trying to see whether or not he could move over here. I measured it out and he could easily get over there. Problem is the turns, the little fences that I have in here. Usually I think they're, oh, not that big of a deal, but actually they throw a lot of problem in here where they're having to go around them and it messes up their movement. So instead he's going to charge over there and hit that skeleton. So our warrior has just hand weapon of 1. So it's attack of 1. He's got furious. Oops. He's got furious, so he gets another die. So we actually get 2 dice to attack with. We have an AP of 2, so if we get a hit, we're likely to get through the armor, but he's got a defense of 6 anyway, so it's not really going to matter a whole lot. So we hit on 4s or better. So let's see what we come up with. No hits. No. All right. So the Beastman totally whiffs. The skeleton's got a quality of 5. He can do a return strike here, nice and close. 5. So he hits. All right. On top of that, he's got the battle standard. Well, first we have to see whether or not they defend against that. So he's got defense of 5. So we've got 1. All right. He defends against it. They trade blows. Nothing happens. Beastman's got to back off an inch. Does that put him within 3 of the middle of that? Yeah, so they're going to contest that at the end. It's not going to matter a whole lot. Well, actually, he may get taken out by the skeleton archer there. We'll see. All right. So that's the Beastmen have gone. Now it's the Mummified Undead's turn. Now, I think what we'll do is we will go ahead and clear the activation here so he gets back up. Doesn't really matter a whole lot, but might as well get him back on his feet. That's going to force the Beastmen to go again. And so now the boss has got to decide what it is that he's going to do. He could track down the skeleton over there and try. He should be able to take the skeleton out, which would allow them to capture that point. Sorry, this guy has gone at this point because he got better. That should allow them to capture that point. This other statue could come over there and contest that, make it so it's a non-thing. So it doesn't really seem... Oh, I guess the other thing to be concerned about is the king coming over and hitting my boss in the back, which I don't really like the idea of that. That doesn't seem very nice. So let's make sure that's not going to happen. He's not within 12 inches, so we're not going to get backstabbed by the Mummy King. I think what we'll do is we'll move up our little inch there and go ahead and attack that statue and see if we can take this statue out. So he's going to charge in. Brute boss is attacking for a lot. So he's going to get his 3 automatic hits. He's going to get 7 other dice. He's going to hit on 3s or better. All right, so we have 1 gets knocked out. So now we're going to roll on defense, which with the armor piercing of 1, our defense is 5 for that statue. Oh, it's a lot of dice. All right, so we're rolling, and we have 1, 2 defenses. We have, yikes, 4, 7 hits coming in. So the next thing is going to be regeneration. We'll see if regeneration kicks in. 5 or 6s. Actually, that's a lot of 5s and 6s. That's 4. So he's going to take 3 hits. All right, so he's going to go up to 4, which is going to put him past his tough value. We're going to roll to see whether he gets knocked out or not. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be 5 plus tough in order to knock him out. 10. Actually, he is knocked out. Boom! King took him out. Ta-da! It's not the king, it's the boss. Keep getting the names wrong. All right, so the boss takes him out. Does he move away at that point in time? No. I think he moves. He'll just stay right here. We're going to keep that one contested, and he's done. All right. Got 2 other things to wrap up here, and then it'll be the end of the game. So we've got a Mummy King right here. He's going to stay. Well, actually, he can move 12. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. He'll move out over here. Just, gonna be part of the action, maybe. Move over there. Can be done, because that's going to stay captured. And then we've got the little skeleton over there. So everybody else is gone, but we've got this little skeleton. And there's a Beastman right there. Now, he's already done his retaliate thing. So he's got 1 attack and he hits on a 6. So let's see if he can shoot that Beastman right there. 2. Nope. Didn't happen. So pulled his little arrow out and it bounced off the Beastman's shield right there. You got the Beastman kind of like parried. He went like this. He went jink. And the arrow just went pow right off his shield. All right. So then that skeleton's done. That's the end of round 4. We start looking at points, and this one's contested. That one is contested also, I think. Yep, it's contested. This one stays in control of the mummies, and they move up to 5. And the Mummified Undead get the win yet again. All right. Gonna have to figure out how to do something different with the Beastmen. I think that tough and that regeneration, there was that one attack where the boss came in and nailed that statue pretty good, and he shrugged off like all of the damage. I think that was kind of a turning point in the game. I've been using the Centaurs a lot. I think on the Beastmen side, next time around, I'm painting up a few brutes right now, some basic Beastmen brutes. Maybe I'll bring them in as part of the mix and see if we upgrade from Centaurs into brutes, which are a little bit tougher. I think they've got the tough 3. See if that makes a difference. That may mean that I can't, because I think the brutes cost, I think 50-ish. Let me look here. Do I have my cards here that have the brute cost? So I made cards up for about everything. And where are they at? Oh, they're not in my little box. I moved them somewhere else. All right, so let's see here. I do have them on my older cards, I think. So what's a brute? There's brutes. Brutes cost 55. So if I go with brutes, they're going to be, I was paying 40 for the Centaurs. So there's 40, 50 with an upgrade ends up being about 55. So if I bring in some just straight up brutes, I would probably be my boss plus just 2 brutes in order to take on the skeletons. So that may be a more interesting battle. We'll have to see how that goes. And maybe we can get an upgrade on the brute too. We'll have to see what I can do there. So anyway, we'll get them painted up, and then we'll have the smaller guys on the Beastmen side will be out of there, and we'll just be with a lot of models with tough is what it's looking like. And I'm getting to the point where I can start, because part of this increasing the point value involves printing the models, which I'm doing, painting the models, and then recording the thing. So I'm close to, I've got some more printed. I've got some boars printed. I have the Beast Riders, I think they are, on the Skeletal Undead side. I have some of those printed out. Let's make sure if I've got the right cards here. So let's see what I can possibly bring to bear. So I do have, I have some Hunters printed out. I have a Beast Lord printed out, which I haven't used yet. Haven't made a Centaur boss yet. Don't have any Knights. I do have a Mummy Priest. That's another thing, is I haven't gotten the magic stuff going yet, and need to look at that. I did finally get some Snake Men to print. Was having issues getting the Snake Men, but now I've got a couple of Snake Men I could possibly bring to bear, and I've got some Beast Riders out there that I could bring to bear. So, and those are huge point costs. So I can start getting into some bigger setups here and some bigger point value skirmishes. So anyway, Mummified Undead, victory again. Beastmen couldn't pull it out. This boss is just being shamed right and left by this king. So I think he's going to be really mad and come back with some pretty large forces next time, and we'll see if the Mummified Undead can defend against that. All right, so that's it for now. Make sure like, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff, and check out one-page rules for Age of Fantasy Skirmish. And I may be getting to a point where I can start doing just straight up Age of Fantasy, because I have enough models to meet the point costs of that side of things. So, all right, that's it for now, and thanks for watching.